In this episode, we're going to take a look at one of the original 1982 G.I. Joe characters that has finally made its way into the Classified series. So, stick around. Hello, fellow dorks and dorkettes, and welcome to It Came From My Side of the Laundry Room. My name is Rob, and in this episode, we'll be taking a look at one of the original 1982 G.I. Joe characters that has finally made its way into the Classified series. And that character is Stalker. Of course, here they call him Sergeant Stalker, but I'm very thankful for that and not, them having to use his full name like they have in releases throughout the past. I guess Stalker just has a weird, stigma to it, and they wanted to flower it up so it doesn't sound as creepy, maybe? I don't know. Hasbro has done some really weird things with character names over the years, and I'm just thankful that this is as close to the original name as they've done in a while. Anyway, without wasting any more time, let's get to the packaging.
Yo, Joe!
Now, this has some really unique artwork. I mean, he has very elongated features on his face, but I really dig the style. It's really neat. And I know a lot of people criticize the fact that there is not a coherent art style to the Classified series, but I kind of like it. I mean, it makes, everybody's packaging just a little bit unique compared to each other. So I like that. But we have a very good picture of Stalker here, and now let's flip to the side and see what we have. Again, a very interesting art style, and at the bottom you can see it's carried over from the front of the packaging with him holding his rifle. Now the top picture, another solid art piece, and it's got really neat colors. I like the greens. They kind of stand out really vividly, so I really dig that. It's just an interesting art style. But, other than those few things, there's not really much to talk about. So, I guess we're going to go to our first impressions. Okay, here is Stalker right out of the package without any of his gear, and he looks great. The first thing, though, that I notice is his camouflage is missing a lot of the different color, palette that his original version had. Now, I see a lot of people online customizing his paint scheme, and believe me, I would love to be able to do that. Maybe I'll give it a shot one day, but I know I am definitely not confident enough to try. Now, something else that I noticed as I bring the camera up here is he has a scar here above his ear. Interesting choice, but it's nicely sculpted, so interesting character choice, but it kind of works. But yeah, I think he looks great. Like I said, the camouflage I wish was a little bit more, colorful with the browns and different shades of green like the original, but, it looks awesome. So, and also his combat webbing looks great. It's got the grenade there, you can see different buckles and pouches, and, he has a gun holster and a knife sheath on the side, so yeah, it looks like he's got some really good details with that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think he's great. Anyway, let's take a look at all the awesome gear that he came with, because he came with a lot, which is really awesome and very surprising. So here we go. Like I said, he comes with a lot of gear. He comes with a sash. I'm sure it has a technical name, but a sash to wear around his neck. His patented beret, a
backpack that looks like it is a holder of a gun or one of the rifles. We come with two different rifles. We come with this really heavy like machine gun with a clip with like a string of bullets coming out of it. And we have a gun that's very akin to his original release here on the right side. He also comes with a knife, a handgun, and like this silencer, flash suppressor type of, augmentation that you can put on the front of the handgun. So pretty awesome. And again, I've said it before, I'm completely ignorant to the names of different firearms and stuff, so I just know it looks cool, and all of this stuff looks really cool. So, and one thing I want to point out super quick, and I think it's more apparent with him, I mean, some of the earlier releases as well, but we've gotten away from the like sci-fi armaments that the classified figures came with. I mean, it's kind of bittersweet because originally, at least the cartoon, they used lasers and sci-fi weapons. So that was cool, but honestly, I am glad that they went to a more realistic, portrayal of, rifles and guns and knives and things like that. But anyway, let's put some of this stuff on him and see how awesome he looks. Okay, here we go. He has all of his gear on him. And I have to say, some of it was pretty difficult, which is surprising. His hands aren't as, like, rubbery as some of the other classified figures, so it was really hard to get the gun into his hand with the finger on the trigger and the thumb in the right place. It was just kind of tricky. I think he looks really awesome, but, as you can see, his back has the more OG rifle machine gun. And the clip goes in a nice little holder here because it wouldn't fit, down into the, back holster like that. We have his knife as he's getting ready to pull it, it looks like. He has the handgun and the silencer thing here, kind of like how Snake Eyes has on his. The drum feed on this machine gun looks really nice. Kind of wish I could have put it on the outside, but it seems to only fit a certain way with how it's, cut out and fit. But the beret looks really nice. The only thing that I think is a really nice touch, but it's not working the way I would want it to, is the, sash thing. I mean, it kind of sits up high because of his combat webbing on his shoulders. So it kind of looks really high in place, and yeah, I mean, like he has no neck. I mean, you can see how high it sits up here on the side. I mean, it's still a nice piece, but I don't like how it sits. We'll have to play with it a little bit more, or maybe just get rid of it altogether. Who knows? But let's put him in some more poses with his different accessories and see how awesome he looks. Okay, first things first, we have his smaller submachine gun in hand, holding the magazine. And yeah, it takes me back to the OG figure. Very nice, very streamlined. It fit a lot better in his hands than the heavier machine gun did. And yeah, I think it looks really cool. I mean, the sash thing doesn't look too bad there. So yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. But let's get to another pose. Okay, here he is getting ready to put his silencer, flash suppressor item on his pistol. Looks pretty cool. Looks like he's getting ready to slap it on and take some close quarters combat with his handgun. looks pretty cool. I took the sash off. I mean, the combat webbing got a little disheveled from that, so let me fix that. But anyway, I think that looks pretty cool. I like it. Very cool. Like I said, I wish his camouflage was just a little bit different, because that was one of the things. Him and Snake Eyes were the most unique of the original releases of 82. So, yeah, that camo that he has in the original figure is just so iconic. So maybe I'll get the guts up one day to try to customize it with that. But until now, I'll just have to live with this. But on to the next pose. Okay, for our last pose, here is Stalker getting ready to take things in a more silent direction. He has pulled his knife, he's holding his machine gun to his side, and he is ready to sneak up on whatever Cobra forces are lurking in the shadows. That is a really nice pose. I like that. And, I really like the face sculpt. I really dig it. They did a great job with it. And, the seriousness is pretty cool. But I'm just, I remember the character in a whole nother way. So, I just wish that they would take a little bit more, like fun liberties with some of these characters. They all look very, rough and realistic and, all that's cool and all, but that wasn't what all G.I. Joe was. Yes, it was an aspect of it, but, these characters also knew how to have a good time, and that's what made the comic book so engaging, because you saw different facets of the characters. But anyway, enough of all that. It's a great character. It's a great figure, and I'm happy to have him. He was always one of my favorite original characters that I never had. I'm just happy to have him in my collection no matter what, because of the nostalgia factor and the fact I always wanted him. So, very happy about that. So, anyway, let's get back to me and wrap this up.
Besides my few little silly gripes, this is a fantastic figure. Stalker looks fantastic up on the shelf with the rest of the Joes, and he is a welcome addition to the classified line. Very happy to finally have him. Finally happy to put him up there with the rest of the group. And yeah, one of those gripes, which was the sash thing, again, sorry for not using proper terminology, simply just don't put it on. He looks more like the original figure without it, with the cool, ribbed neckline like the original figure and everything. Looks great. But yeah, he's up there. I'm happy. He's hopefully happy hanging with the rest of the group. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give me 2 thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them, and I love getting back to everybody. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this, or any of the episodes that YouTube is recommending down here, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, you will be notified whenever there's a new episode. So, until next time, thank you for watching, keep being rad, and stay dorky.